And join me now in welcoming our next team from the Wentworth chapter of the Mechanical Contractors Association of America. Wentworth team members are Arthur Lakis, Tom Melanson, Richard Mello, Michael Sullivan, and technical assistants Garrett Safal. Good luck, and you may begin when ready.
Thanks a lot, Troy. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Sullivan. I'm a project executive at Micron Mechanical. Today we will discuss the tools and resources that we plan to implement in order to successfully deliver design, build, HVAC, and plumbing services to the Segundo Student Service Center. Micron has handcrafted a project team with the wide range of knowledge needed in order to complete a higher education LEED facility. That being said, the entire project team reflects our company's core values of effective communication, intense collaboration, and the willingness to exceed those expectations. By instilling these values into every member of the Micron family is how we have been able to successfully deliver design-build services for well over 18 years. I'd like to take time to introduce the project team. With us today, we have Tom Melanson, our project manager, Richard Mello, our design manager, and Arthur Lekis, our service manager. And together we will lead our teams to exceed the expectations set forth by Jones Building Constructors and the University of California, Davis through early involvement from each of these individuals. Early involvement from the construction and post-construction teams during the design phase will greatly increase the efficiency throughout the duration of the project. We understand that you guys want LEED Gold on this project, and we're willing to give you that. Our design team is ready to design and construct an HVAC system with enough LEED credits to achieve LEED Gold. Our design team, headed by Rich Mello and Great Engineering, is completely confident in achieving 16 out of 16 optimizing energy performance credits, as well as credits associated in the water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, and environmental quality categories. The amount of collective experience we will have on this project will allow us to understand what we need for the LEED Gold certification. We understand it takes about 60 LEED credits to get LEED Gold, and although the systems we will put in place will play a role in achieving various other credits, we believe that the services we will be providing will be solely responsible for 28. At this time, I'd like to invite Richard Mello, our design manager, to talk about the HVAC design intent.
Thanks, Mike. For much of my 14-year career, I've designed systems for buildings all over the LEED spectrum. For this project, I will lead Micron in the design of the HVAC and plumbing systems and be the main point of contact with Great Engineering. Using the 2-month design lead time, we will develop the schematic drawings into 100% construction documents. Working with JBC and other trades, we will get an early jump on coordination, holding bi-weekly meetings. And after pre-submission meetings with JBC, we will submit interim designs to the University of California, Davis weekly until June 1st, 2015, when the final CDs will be presented. This will ensure your vision is being upheld throughout the entire design phase. Our HVAC design intent for the Segundo Student Services Center will exceed your expectations. Micron Mechanical's goal on every design-build project is to create an energy-efficient system which minimizes both costs and emission deposits. We performed extensive research and proven design practices in order to understand what it will take to meet LEED NC Gold standards. For the Segundo Student Services Center, optimum performance will be obtained through the use of multiple systems, including 100% outside air handling unit, conventional VAV boxes, chilled beams and chilled beam boxes, and fan coil units, which will only be used for a small portion of the job. The air handling unit will provide air throughout the building through the use of both conventional VAV boxes and the chilled beam VAV systems. The conventional VAV boxes will provide conditioned air to the interior spaces, while the chilled beam VAV systems will provide air to the perimeter spaces. The air handling unit will incorporate both heat recovery and indirect evaporated cooling, allowing for the use of a 100% outside air system with almost the same energy consumption as a recirculating system, while considerably improving the indoor air quality. Using these systems in tandem will result in substantial fan energy savings. On the piping end of the HVAC system, Micron will utilize an on-demand pumping control sequence, which will allow the building to shut down its chilled water pumps and use the available pressure from the campus's chilled water network when possible. This will be accomplished through the use of a 3-stage pumping sequence, resulting in additional energy savings, especially during those off-peak seasons. So the savings, the efficiency, and the air quality from our design will far exceed the designs of our competitors. The installation of these systems will result in 42% energy savings with respect to the ASHRAE standard 90.1 2010 baseline, adding the 16 maximum optimizing energy performance credits to your LEED scorecard. Next, I want to speak briefly about value-added analysis. Included in our proposal is an option we extend to all our clients seeking LEED certifications. This option is to replace all the copper and black iron piping with Aquatherm. Aquatherm will not corrode, requires less insulation, and the material costs are directly comparable to that of copper. And due to the speed of its installation, our preliminary schedule can be accelerated by 2 weeks. In addition, Aquatherm is up to 75% lighter than comparable piping, allowing our workers to carry more pipe while decreasing fatigue and the chance of injury. By installing Aquatherm, LEED Gold credits for innovation in design and the indoor environmental quality will be easily obtained, adding our contribution to your LEED scorecard to 30 points. Throughout the design and construction phase, we will continue to provide you with cost-effective and innovative options for the Segundo Student Services Center. Now I'd like to turn it over to Tom to discuss the construction phase.
Thanks, Rich. As your project manager, it is my responsibility to ensure that Micron's performance exceeds the expectations of Jones Building constructors, as well as the University of California, Davis. As project manager, I will be working hand in hand with our general foreman on all aspects of the project, including material procurement, our schedule, site logistics, and safety. We take safety very seriously here at Micron and work tirelessly to ensure that our reputation is maintained as being one of the safest contractors in the industry. Our current EMR rates us at 0.64, and we are proud to report that that number is only expected to decrease. As outlined in the safety portion of our proposal, all of our Micron foremen are always available and open to having discussions regarding safety. These foremen have all been trained in what we call rapid response, if notified of any Micron employee partaking in any unsafe acts. Throughout the design and construction phase, we will be using Blue Beam technology to control all HVAC and plumbing documents on the project, including our own drawing log as well as any potential changes. In addition, our design manager, Rich, will be using Autodesk Navisworks to manage the coordination process, as well as to run early clash detection on our system to ensure that any issues are identified before they're installed in the field. Ultimately, I am responsible to ensure the overall quality of all systems Micron installs. In the early phases of construction, the installation of temporary utilities will be of the utmost importance. As you know, the existing Student Service Center currently serves domestic and heating hot water to the adjacent dorms, and demolition of these utilities will directly affect the students. To ensure a seamless transition into temporary service, Micron has developed a plan to phase in 4 customizable container units that will tap into the campus water supply and house the necessary equipment to ensure the service of water to students is unaffected. At this point, I would like to please request that you direct your attention to the screen as I outline our plan as follows. After the students move out on May 15th, Micron will safe off all utilities as necessary. When complete, we will install our first container unit to Ryerson Hall and start it up in time for the summer semester. Demolition of the existing building will run concurrently with the demolition of the existing utilities. From there, the installation of the new utilities will begin at the existing dorms and will tie into the foundation of the new Student Service Center. On August 12th, the 3 remaining units will be installed, ensuring that Gilmore and Malcolm Hall are started up in time for early activities. On August 31st, Bixby Hall's unit will be started in time for the beginning of the fall semester. These units may be turned on and off during the construction phase at the discretion of JVC as well as the university. The units will remain on site until startup and commissioning has been completed on March 16th, 2016. As outlined in our complete schedule, we will be installing our design system over the course of 12 months. The schedule sequence has been created based on prior projects of similar size and scope, and we feel very confidently that we can execute your schedule successfully. In addition to the installation of temporary utilities, we have identified the placement of the air handling unit and other equipment in the basement as critical activities. These critical activities will be completed prior to the erection of structural steel to ensure we are not blocked out by the superstructure. From there, the rest of the activities have been scheduled to phase from the ground up. However, we feel comfortable working through lean construction with JBC and the university to identify and eliminate any inefficiencies the team sees fit. And finally, I would like to mention that Micron is completely aware of the crane situation as discussed in addendum number 1. To mitigate, we will be providing our own Tadano TM1000 that we currently own. This crane has sufficient lifting capacity to hoist all material and equipment we need to complete our portion of the project. We are able to furnish all operator certifications and inspection reports as needed by Jones Building Constructors. And at this point, I would like to turn it over to Art Leckis, who will talk to you today about the service agreement for your project.
Thanks a lot, Tom. As Michael previously mentioned, Micron Mechanical really tries to get the early involvement of all the key personnel as early as possible. As the service manager, I'll be involved early on during the design phase to gain an advanced knowledge of the systems that will be selected for the Segundo Student Services Center. This will allow my team to plan your service accordingly, and together we can achieve success post-occupancy. Our service contract consists of a 1-year preventative maintenance agreement with quarterly visits and the opportunity to continue for full coverage for years 2 through 5. These quarterly visits will allow us to service your equipment as recommended by the manufacturer's suggested intervals. This will include the changing of any filters, belts, or other maintenance items required to keep your service running as smooth as possible. Micron Mechanical doesn't like to wait for service alarms or service request forms to come across our desk to stay involved. We do this by planning ahead. For the first year, we will monitor your system to ensure that it not only meets the requirements set forth by UC Davis, but it will exceed them. Using the first year as a benchmark, your acceptance for years 2 through 5 will allow us to continue to monitor your system to ensure that it runs as reliable and efficient as possible. With this, UC Davis can expect annual energy reports to be submitted to keep you up to speed on your building's operating success. For the price of $24,279, you will have access to Micron's knowledgeable field staff, which consists of over 50% UA Star certified technicians. Micron Mechanical is a Green Star provider, which not only shows our commitment, but it illustrates our ability to service your high-performance equipment. To touch upon other costs associated with this project, here's your project executive, Michael Sullivan.
Thanks a lot, Arthur. Our base bid of $4.7 million includes design and construction services for an HVAC and plumbing system with that sufficient performance to help us achieve LEED Gold, as well as a 1-year service proposal to ensure the success post-occupancy. I think it's worth noting that in our HVAC bid is a sub-bid with a local sheet metal contractor we have worked with extensively in the past. And having this sheet metal contractor on board will help us achieve 15% disadvantaged veterans business enterprise goals. Located in the estimate in the proposal in front of you covers the entirety of Exhibit 1, plumbing and mechanical scopes of work, as well as items outlined in the request for proposal, all plans and specifications, addendums, and RFI answers. The services we will be providing the Student Center are the same services that we have built Micron around. And as a result, you will receive access to some of the most knowledgeable and experienced managers in California who will work with you to ensure that the success of the Segundo Student Service Center happens before, during, and after construction. We look forward to developing a relationship with Jones Building Constructors and the University of California, Davis, and want to thank you for this amazing opportunity. At this time, I'd like to open the floor up to questions you may have about the proposal or our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. You've spent considerable amount of time and energy investigating the energy savings on various aspects of the job, and you have a very good design plan, which we're very impressed with. But if you're going to jump through all those hoops with the chilled beams, the air handler, the pumping savings, what do you think the chances are of going to LEED Platinum, and what do you think it'll cost?
Oh, no.
Especially if you integrate the value-added analysis that we have offered not only in the proposal, but we will offer during the 2-month design lead time, we feel very strongly that we can get LEED Platinum. We actually did another project, if you look in our proposal, the Union University, very similar project. We did the chilled beam systems, we did the fan coil unit, you know, same exact design, used a 100% outside air handling unit, and we also achieved LEED Platinum on that project as well, so we feel very confident regarding that.
I feel like it's worth adding that for the University Union project, their owner team changed their desire from LEED Gold to LEED Platinum about halfway through the design, and we were able to sit down with the owner and decide what they want to do the next day and figure out the cost associated with that. So if your desire for LEED Platinum is, if you want that, the earlier the better. We can sit down and plan for that.
Sure. Thank you.
Your proposal lists that you have not got any key subcontractors on board, that all you've done in your proposal is have estimated amounts. What happens when you go out to bids for your sheet metal, your insulation, and your controls if those numbers come in higher than your estimate? Is that some cost that you're going to absorb or you're going to ask us to absorb?
We've actually talked around with the subcontractors that we have worked with, especially Vacaville Air Conditioning, who provides most of our sheet metal work, and we got their bid, a preliminary bid that they gave us. We're also bidding out insulation to a subcontractor, and we're pretty confident that the amounts we put in the proposal are the amounts that we're going to get. If they do come over, we will negotiate with the subcontractor and proceed from there.
Your piping labor in your estimate appears to be based on just pipe footage with a factor to cover valves and fittings and things like that. I can't imagine that's very accurate. What's your history with that?
Can you repeat that question? Apologize.
Your piping labor, rather than being based on pipe, valves, fittings, hangers, etc., is all based on pipe footage with a factor for the rest of the stuff.
What we did was we took a quantity takeoff in the linear footage and we put factors on those. So the valves, we take 30% of the cost of the pipe we associate with valves and hangers. So we take a percentage of the cost of the pipe that we see fit and dish it out to the hangers and valves and accessories.
You find that to be accurate?
It has been accurate in the past, yes.
During your pre-construction services, you broke down, what personnel are going to be attending meetings, and you have 3 weeks that you're charging us for the general foreman. What's his role during pre-construction, and why are we paying for 3 weeks of his time?
We like to have him on board in the design phase so we understand how these systems are going to be installed and if we can go with a better option, if the efficiency in the field during construction can be improved. He's also there to tell us if the system we did select, we're going to have troubles during the construction phase. So he's there for that.
In reviewing your proposal and comparing it to your competition, you've covered very well most of the things that we'd like to see, but your 1-year service contract seems exceptionally high when compared to your competitors. Can you figure out, possibly explain why it might be a little higher?
We've actually applied the same factors. We've went through, the drawings, the equipment that's there, and calculated this number. If the competition came in with a lower number, I would probably argue that you'd get subpar performance from those contractors.
If we change the frequency and the visitation list off the service plan, you think we could cut that number substantially?
I don't think we could really cut down the number substantially or really much at all, because the frequency of the visits would really cut into the manufacturer's, the warranty. And in order for us to really warranty the equipment, we have to actually service the equipment to uphold, the maintenance of it. Otherwise, the equipment's not being serviced, and then, the reliability of the equipment breaks down.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your bond, we have time for one more, Troy? Your bond premium shows up as 5% in your estimate. In the narrative portion of the proposal, it shows a 0.8%. Which is accurate?
The 0.8% is what we're going to go with. We understand that that's in there.
Well, you've included 5% in your estimate.
So what we're going to do, I'll call my estimator, James Thomas, back in Sacramento. It looks like looking at it real quick, it's going to shave $200,000 off of that bond. And I'll get a number from James Thomas and get it out to you by the end of the day.
Thank you. Please join me in a round of applause for the team from Wentworth Chapter of Mechanical Contractors Association of America.